world. Nothing will escape. I will find my love again. You matter so little. You face the ruined king.
Snap back to reality.
If you found this video, that can only mean one thing. You're a masochist, because you want to play Viego top. Well, I'm here to be your guide. An aram warlord who plays top lane on occasion. So why play Viego? Because I want to live out my dreams as Thanos the Twink, that's why. His lore, gameplay, possession, gimmick, everything is just sick about him. And I don't think I have to convince you about that. But why play Viego top? If you're like me, it's because you find jungling boring, and between the two solo lanes, I was already more accustomed to top lane. Viego is honestly the better, less situational pick, mid lane, but that's not what this video is about. You may also be chasing the success that lane Viego had closer to his release, where he had 150% healing on minions on his Q passive, which is now 10. Should you blind pick Viego top? Well, the short answer is there are way too many brick wall and absolutely unplayable matchups. But will that stop me from blind picking Viego? No. Level 2 Viego is one of, if not the fastest character to fully stack conk on, so taking advantage of an all-in trade is usually what I go for, especially if you can get level 2 before the enemy laner. And keep up your conk stacks with Q pokes as well. Conk basically carries the entire character in lane.
Better scramble like an egg before you get folded like an omelet.
One of the first shortcomings you'll experience of Viego top is the brutal consequences of making a mistake. Your laner makes a mistake, you usually get a Q poke in, maybe an auto. You make a mistake against a meta top laner. So even though Viego is a snowball champion, playing safe and CSing well can pay out really great. As your main goal the second you load into the game is, I need. You can delay for lane survivability items, but we'll talk about itemization later. Something I try to play for as much as I can is a potential scuttle fight with my jungler, but a good scuttle fight requires knowing your teammate's early game power, enemies' early game power, prio from each lane, jungler clear, and it has to be 74 degrees on a Tuesday. Take for example this clip where Hecarim tries to gank me and then do scuttle, but I sneak prio for the fight using my mist, and even end up ganking Aatrox as his own jungler. Viego moment. Your mist can be your most powerful tool, allowing you to drop minion aggro in trades, manipulate Fog of War to get fully charged W's in, and give movement speed to not get absolutely obliterated when pushed up. Once you hit level 6, it allows for more solo kill potential, a gap closer, or even an escape tool. Now, let's move on to...
Would you like to build a bomb? Certain build a bomb. There's no need to panic. This isn't a test. Just build a bomb.
I found success on both TP and Ignite, but prefer TP for less punishing games when behind, and also that late game utility. But Ignite is probably better for more aggressive plays and getting that lead. Same debate goes for D-Shield or D-Blade, just depends on how aggressive you see yourself playing the lane, and whether it's a poke matchup.
What the fuck?
So as I mentioned before, Rush it synergizes so well, go figure, that I say that you don't even become a champion until you have it. You can delay the power spike with one early game item like Steel Caps, Hex Drinker, Warden's Mail, or Bombies. Crossfire Gauntlet is my favorite mythic on Viego. It gives him the tankiness to survive long enough in a fight to get a reset, allows him to stick on his target to get as much Bork auto value as possible, and fills that gap in the team comp that usually the top laner provides to frontline and possibly engage without dying. Though I recommend not 1v5 engaging like other tanks can, as you aren't that tanky, and you will probably not get a reset if you're the sole engager. I've mostly played with the Frostfire build, but Kraken, Sunder, Shieldbow, and Trinity all filled their own playstyle. Eclipse was also fun, but I only built it all ahead. Gore Drinker and Tribreaker seem fine in theory, and in my opinion, if you're gonna build a tank item, Frostfire beats Sunfire in almost every category except for damage, but the utility is too good in my opinion to go Sunfire. To finish off the build, Wit's End and Death's Chance both synergize really well with Viego while giving both damage and resistances. Chempunk Chainsword is good if necessary, or throw in Black Cleaver or Sterax, and finish with GA. For runes, we go for Conk always. The other contender is PTA, it's not even close how good it is compared to Conk. Triumph synergizes really well. You need tenacity over attack speed with this build, and I've found that Last Stand is better than Coup de Grace, but both work fine. Then for secondary, I go Resolve into Conditioning Overgrowth for that OP scaling, but pretty much every rune in the bottom 2 rows has its use. I prefer the scaling. And lastly for shards, attack speed, adaptive, and then I go for health shards because math or whatever. Now let's address the only question that matters.
Mom, this tastes different. Did you put anything different in it?
Not yet!
If your team hasn't completely ran it up until this point, this is where it gets fun. The goal is to win teamfights. You have to pick up and shove side lanes, but being there for game-deciding teamfights around objectives and control over the map is where Viego shines. If it wasn't already obvious, Viego, after possessing a body in a teamfight, is a raid boss. He gets to chain his full combo with ult after using up to 3 abilities from the possess, until the enemy team is all dead. You are a hyper carry that can wipe the entire enemy team, but only if your team provides an initial advantage state to get a pick, while keeping momentum to move in. It's not all on your team though to get you in, especially with a frontline healthier build. Using Mist and Fog of War to get fully charged W's into Frostfire Slow can easily get you a kill depending on how off guard their team was to the play. So in short, rip and tear until it is done. Finally, let's end with some WQ allows for extra reach on your Q-stab, which is mostly useful for getting that last poke in on a low HP enemy or last hitting. Your full combo with an early R gap closer should start with a long Q, into R, into an auto attack, W, auto attack, Q again, auto attack. Something to note is that you can E during any animation. Probably my most useful tip is that you are stealth during your backbone Mist, which allows for super early resets anywhere, and I abuse this whenever I can. Important to note is that you should press recall, then E, and not E, then recall, as the former will cover the duration of the entire recall, while the latter will show you at the very end of the recall. You should always think about where your E goes on walls to artificially scare the enemy, or make it seem like that you aren't in a small corner of it so it's less telegraphed. Finally, use your R's unstoppability to sort of parry CC that you're going to get hit by to get distance before you get stunned. Viego top is a high-risk, low-reward laner, but it's all worth it for that late-game Viego moment. Now, first time in ranked, good luck, bye!